Right, guys, welcome back. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. My name is Adam, and as always, joined by Baker. Evening, mate. How are you?
Very well. Sunday.
Bonus pod.
Sunday.
Bonus pod.
This is it. This is our Christmas.
I saw a little Christmas tree and the little present on your little tweet last night. What are you drinking tonight?
Above average glass. It has to be a whiskey for the bonus pod.
I don't have an above average glass with me tonight. Terrible disgrace.
We have some more shortly.
We will have some more. They're expected to be coming end of this week, I think. So we should have a few of those, which is going to be great. It's going to be great. If you're listening on the podcast, I will just say straight away, if you're listening on the podcast, this is going to be a very visual podcast. Head over to the YouTube. It's the best place to catch this one. It's a podcast that we do once a season, pretty much, and particularly this year with obviously the huge changes that have happened to the BPS. You know, we thought about it, and then we just got a million different tweets, right? So it's we'll do it. Of course, we'll do it. And and so
it's been a journey.
We're here now. How are we? How are we feeling about the research and stuff like that? It's been a bit mad.
Yeah, it's like, where do you start with it? I do a lot of work just in my general life with data, and I do work with this stuff, but I don't know a lot on how to do data. I'm really happy if a VLOOKUP works. I'm really happy. Pivot table, gone too far on these bits of it. But I love the data, so I tend to do a lot of stuff manually on this. So you helped in that you can do most of those stuff. So we got last season data.
We did.
We got the fouls.
We did.
Fouls wasn't easy as it's straightforward. It's not one of the key stats that we normally use. We got shots on target. So we could then work through some baseline. It's like, we've got somewhere. We know what it means, but it's like, what does that actually mean for players? Like, where do we then go from there? So I was like, I'm going to go trolling. I'm going to look at some stuff, and I'll shout out Fantasy Football Scout members area. It's nice. You can click a player profile. You can click each of the matches and stuff. You can sort it by goals and assists or bonus and flick through and try and work through. But it does take a little bit of loading each one. You've got to look at them and then add some numbers and flick back and forth. It's tough. But we didn't think there was any other way. We thought, bloody hell, like, it's been long enough now. If no one else is recalculating, not going to happen. And then what happened?
And then I basically set someone a challenge, and I messaged this person and said, this is what people are looking at the moment. People are asking about. Do you think it's possible? I said, I don't think it's possible, but do you think it's possible? And I gave him a couple of things that I thought it might be, and he was like, yeah, okay, leave it with me. And he started working on it, and he started trying to solve it. He's trying to work it out. And then all last night he was thinking about it. And he messaged me in the morning saying, mate, I've been dreaming about how to solve this overnight. And then we wake up this morning and he's scraping data, and suddenly we've got last season completely recalculated based on the new rule changes.
Santa
has literally dropped a present down our chimney, and everyone, and for everyone, because it was asked. Everyone was asked, and saying, like, what is it? And there's a question as to how much, I guess, relevance on the future it's going to be, but it's interesting to look at and
it's really interesting
and see. Well, should we just show it?
Who's Santa? We're old enough here. Who's Santa?
Santa is Pete, is FPL.team. FPL team has helped us to.
He needs a glass.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Mate, have I not spent enough on postage? No. Yeah, I will do.
Yeah.
I'll send one over to you. Yeah. Pete has gone through every single fixture, recalculated every single bonus, and told us who the winners and losers are, which is quite.
And he'll make it available for all shortly.
Yes.
But
here they are. So for people that are listening, if you're not coming over to the YouTube, and give Pete some love in the chat on the YouTube live, that'd be great. And so just to read a few of these out, and some of these are not unexpected, I don't think. Some of them are a little bit like, whoa, how does that happen? So the big winners, we'll start with the winners, we'll start with the losers.
Winners.
The winners So basically 10 points would have been added to Maddison's total. So Maddison is the big winner. Maddison is the
from
big
26
winner.
games.
From 26 games, 26 starts to get 28 games, 10 additional bonus points. And then Wissa, Watkins, and Barkley all get 7. I've removed anybody that is from a relegated team, although because Barkley went to,
we've got to put back
we've got to put him back in. Solanke, Darwin, Palmer, and Tony had 6 additional points. Salah, Jackson, Gakpo, Justin Cliver, and Hoyland all had 5. There's a bunch of others on 5, but you'll have to wait and see. You have to wait and get that information yourselves. In terms of the big losers, and there's going to be pretty much no surprise in some of the positions here. So Muric had 12 bonus points all last season. Recalculated, he would have finished with 0.
12 at the end of the season. I lost every single one.
Every single one.
Just for noting on promoted keepers that you think they'll get lots of saves, they'll get lots of bonus.
No.
Yeah.
No. And obviously we bring Muric back in because he's now with Ipswich. So
yeah, our friend Ivan was really wanting him.
Yeah, massively. Someone's saying in here in the chat, no, Haaland. Haaland was on 5. He's just a bit lower down, but he's on 5, I think it was. Martinez lost.
On that.
Sorry?
I think it might have been less. I think it might have been in touch.
Was less than that? Was it 4?
Yeah, we'll get to Haaland. We will go through every single team because the important part is when we get to this is it's free. Yeah, it's some really important context when we get there, and we'll explain it when we go through. We're going to go through every single team.
Yeah. Okay. So other big losers, Emi Martinez lost 9 points, as did Pedro Porro. Neto lost 7. So did Allison and Pickford. Vicario and Romero lost 6 each. Trent lost 5.
First defenders, keepers.
Yeah, basically. Trent lost 5. Bolly lost 5. Bernardo Silva is the only midfielder in this in this thing that lost 5. Anthony Robinson and Lewis Dunk. And as I say, the whole list, which is basically again fullbacks and keepers primarily, will be available to everyone shortly, but not just yet. So, Pete, I mean, we went through some iterations today as well. Pete will tell you. We went through some iterations. He was like, this is good. I said, mate, that's not good. You need to check it again. This back and forth. But we got there and, people were asking for it. So a massive shout out to Pete for that.
I mean, the initial take, and not to ruin the fact that we're about to just talk through loads and loads and loads and loads of data, is it's probably not that big a deal because the players that were good at bonus in general are still good at bonus. And the players that were bad at bonus mostly are worse at bonus now, than they were. So, for example, Pickford loses 7, comfortably the highest keeper for bonus in the game. Yeah, is. I set a poll up. I'll give you the first answer on that one. I can give us a couple of answers. So I asked how many points does Porro lose on a poll. 9 or over, 34% got that. So about a third of people worked that out, but yeah, it's probably a little bit more than people expected. In 22-23, there were 14 keepers that got double-digit bonus. 14. Other than that, it's like 10, 11, 10, 11. I think there's 1, 9, but it's between 9 and 11 every season. On the rework, Pickford, 15, Leno, 12, Anana and Flecken, 9. So only two above 10, 2 in double digits. Like, keepers have been absolutely annihilated for bonus. But, it's like 1 less clean for every keeper. That's probably the way to see it. It's not, oh my God, like in the worst case, it's 2 cleans. They've lost.
Yeah.
I mean, Muric lost 3.
But, he didn't even keep that many cleans.
No, he saved a pen, didn't he? Saved a pen.
Yeah.
So it's there. It's the number of points, team players might gain. If you think we want 200-point players, we certainly want 150-point players. That's, roughly somewhere like 3 to 5% of their overall points they'll get. But it's still points, So I think that the next part, where we'll look through team by team, the bits to still keep focusing on ahead is like, who are the bonus hogs in that team? And is that bonus hog position strengthened or is it weakened than where it was? And if it is weakened, we can start to guess and where it might go. Like, it wasn't until I looked at this. At no point last season did it occur to me that Tottenham defenders got more bonus than Arsenal defenders.
Yeah, no,
Like,
no, you wouldn't have, you would never have thought that in a
not
million
in
years.
any consideration. So the main back five for Tottenham, Vicario, Udogie, Van der Ven, Romero, and Porro, got 62 bonus. White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, and Raya got 57. I think there was 3 games difference between it. So in case anyone goes, oh, Zinchenko didn't play that many games. Yeah, Van der Ven missed a few months and Udogie missed a few months. So
they got plenty of cleans though, didn't they?
They got 18 cleans compared to Tottenham 7.
Yeah.
So, you know, imagine if you don't if you don't clean like regularly, like Tottenham didn't, there's more to lose. There's a significant more to lose. The thing on this one's is you can only gain a load if you weren't already getting a load in the first place, and you can only lose a load if you had a lot to start with.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, do we see that specifically when we're looking at this and saying like, oh, Darwin and Jackson, you know, these kind of guys that obviously miss a lot of big chances, but they're turning them now into shots on target that are just, you know, pushing them above. And if they're involved in a game where the team themselves score 2 goals, then every defender and the keeper on the other team don't become a conversation.
Yeah,
so it's really, yeah,
it's tough. I mean, we were talking about beforehand, but if you're a striker and you score the first goal, like, the big difference now is that every goal is worth an extra 2 baseline because it's a shot on target.
Yeah.
So if your team keeps a clean sheet, but the striker scores the first goal, well, they get 24 baseline for scoring. They get 3 for the winning goal because that goal never gets taken off them, as it were. And they get 2 for the shot on target. So they now get a 29 head start on the defenders. You're not making that up when the 12 come in for the clean, and they only get 12 scoring a goal.
Yeah.
So even if, you know, say for example, Havertz scores the first goal for Arsenal, and then Gabriel scores a second, it's not catching Havertz. Not likely.
Just trying to work that out in my mind. It's close though, is it not? Would it not be close?
It's closer, but he's got to beat him on the rest of baseline by 5. And I'm not sure. Well, we'll look.
Havertz will get up. We can go to Arsenal. Let's go to Arsenal.
Let's go Arsenal. We've got to get through these teams.
Yeah, we do. Buckle in. So all of the tables are set out in exactly the same way. Excuse me. So it has the bonus on the left-hand side. Then you have the goals conceded, fouls won, and shots on target, just to note the BPS change. Then you have the old BBPS, which is the baseline BPS, and then the new baseline BPS, and then it's got those same bonus calculations on the right-hand side, which are the recalculated ones from Pete. So one thing we didn't do is we didn't talk about our normal rant about the BPS being the BPS system and all this sort of jazz and stuff like that.
As you were saying repeatedly, it was getting in your head. I could see that. You could see it was getting to me.
So what was it that you said? Because it was something like they use. So
you've got that page, haven't you? With the
let's have a look
at what the changes were. Let's position that.
Yeah, let's put this right in here. So it says it. Firstly, saving a penalty will be reduced from 15 to 9 BPS.
Yep. Okay. So the metric for bonus is the BPS. The system is called bonus point system, and the measurement of unit is also called bonus point system.
No,
they don't know what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing.
They've just gambled on these numbers. They've just got to chuck some numbers in there.
Yeah,
there's some rookie numbers. Just get some more in there.
Right, get that out of the way. Back to Arsenal.
This is the common thing. Anyone who sees this, what you're going to see is defenders and goalie go backwards. So they've got the red in the right-hand column in terms of their total bonus, and everybody else will move forward. But even this, if you look at it, for the whole of Arsenal, the whole 38 games they played, the significant amount of bonus that they got as a team, you know, they've got 4, 6, 10, 11, 14, 18, 19 point changes between their whole squad. 19 points worth of changes, with the maximum change of being -4 on Zinchenko and +4 on Odegaard.
Mhm.
It's not. It's not. It is not.
Across a season.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Yeah, across the
this is
whole
across the
season.
whole season, so it is like
Across the whole season. So the things for me that stand out sort of immediately on this is that I was a Saliba owner for most of the season. And I became a Gabriel owner too after he'd already hurt me quite badly. But one of the things I used to always like was the fact that Saliba would beat Gabriel on the BPS most of the time. You know, I remember the first time like Gabriel was above Saliba. I remember Praz doing the old like emoji, the old like Ronaldo crying emoji of Gabriel's beating Saliba on the bonus. You know, is because it just didn't happen. But Gabriel got fouled 34 times compared to Saliba's 16. So, and then he had 10 shots on target compared to Saliba's 3. So he will gain 55 points on his 54 points on his baseline, as opposed to 22 for Saliba. So he's really caught up. So instead of being it like a 2-point difference in every game, it's pretty level. So my first thoughts on that is, if they're about level for bonus, but one takes a load more shots, who's the one I want of those two? It's Gabriel, 100%. Not like for me now, it's like that's an easy decision for me on those pair. Whether it's White, because
this is something that I brought up sort of just before we started. I'm just wondering whether he's the more likely to one to peak, and given that his average is around the same, he's the one that picked up the most bonus last season. Well, bar Zinchenko, and would have picked up more than him, recalculated, whatever. Is he the one, because he does have the higher potential for those attacking returns? So his baseline will therefore peak more often in games where Arsenal have control, because he's going to be the one making more key passes, more crosses, creating more chances and stuff like that. Yeah. So I wonder there, but really, as you say, he still has to get an attacking return almost to be in the conversation for top bonus.
Yeah. The tough part that probably is the reason why 40% of the game wherever's got Saliba rather than anyone else is that you've now got Calafiori and you've got Timber.
Yeah.
And we're not sure if that impacts Gabriel. We're not sure if that impacts White. But we just don't know. I think most people think one of those will slot into the left back situation and we won't see Kirill or Zinchenko. I'd expect that to be the case. But yes, it's an interesting one. I will talk more when we go to Villa about my little cat dog analogy, but please note the Gabriel versus Saliba fouls one and shots on target, because it's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. So okay, so then midfielders. So is Odegaard the one that we want to look at this season then, more so than say Saka? I know Saka obviously gets a big boost, but does that actually make Saka even better, do you think, this season, given that?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a really funny one here where we can say Saka gained one bonus from gaining 143% points on his baseline.
Yeah.
Like he only gained one bonus. But that's the deal. Like players that repeatedly get top bonus, giving them some extra is still top bonus.
Yes.
It does solidify his position as a real unbelievable. Both of them. I think for Odegaard and Saka, what this solidifies is that they are going to continually be 25 to 30 points in the bonus. That it seems almost hard to understand them not being it. It's almost like they start on about 3.5 points, Arsenal mids, because of the amount of cleans they take, and now because of the amount of bonus they get. It's it's hard. It's really, really hard to ever see him get like a 2-pointer. Is in what they do. That's why Odegaard's great value, definitely 8.5. Like it's really, really good value. But what you're now seeing is that Saka was not in line with Rice and Odegaard. So last season, Rice had like 14.5 and Odegaard 13.1. Saka was back at 10.8. They're now all around 15. There's now like one between them. It's basically what this is now saying is who scores wins.
Yeah. I think the reclassification has obviously done good things for Havertz as well. I mean, that it sounds like an obvious thing to say, but just in the context of Arsenal, bringing him up from 6.3 baseline to almost 10, that means when he does score and he gets, let's say he scores and Saka scores, they're basically aligned at that point, right? Obviously,
Correct.
it depends on who scores which way round. But last season, even if he was a forward last season, he wouldn't have caught them because he just didn't get enough.
Are you saying that Pete needs to redo his figures and recalculate this as well with Havertz as a forward?
No. Pete? No.
Where are you keeping him?
Just down here.
Have you just got flummoxed and saying he's just down there?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's just a nightmare. I've gone so red after that. Nightmare.
But you are right. He gets a bump on his baseline, plus he gets now more points for his goal scored.
Yeah.
So his 17, like that was the recalculation, won't be 17. He'll probably be in the 20s. And also remember that virtually all of his bonus was the second half of the season.
Yeah.
Virtually all of it, because first half of the season, he was a waste of money.
Pretty much.
So that they're all, the midfield is so strong. If it's 1-0 to the Arsenal, the defender's got a chance. If it's 2-0, it's 3-0, and Raya doesn't stand a chance. Just doesn't stand a chance. So our friend Danny is old men with Edison, with the players, keepers that get saves and bonus. Like, it never rings more true than for Edison right now.
Yeah. Agreed.
Sorry, Ryan Edison.
Yeah.
Ryan Edison. Yeah. Yeah. It's just done. Villa.
So before you talk about this one, I mean, I sent out a poll of my own on Thursday. I sent a little, are you a dog person or a cat person? And I got lots of pictures of dogs and cats. But that wasn't really wasn't the intention of my tweet. But nobody picked up on that, which is kind of nice. So tell us about dogs. Tell us about dogs and cats.
We have done this before. We have done this before analogy, but there's an old centre back analogy. I think it was Michael Cox started it. The athletic guy, Michael Cox, but basically saying that centre backs are one of two types. They're a dog or they're a cat. And a dog is the type of centre back. They have the personalities. Like, a dog is like, think of it like they step out, they run after the ball, they want to be on it, they want to run with it. Like, they're crazy. Yeah, they are not particularly conservative, but it's good to have one that attacks it. They'll attack the headers. They'll go up for every catch. You know what I mean? Like a dog would.
Yeah.
They'll do whatever they can for it. And Gabriel, and Konza would fit more that type of player. But Gabriel, certainly you can think of it. Sort of Carvalho type, Vidic type, those type of players historically, the ones that want to attack the ball, that they're your kind of main ones. Calafiori, who comes in, classes themselves, they're definitely a dog. And then you've got the cats. The cats, they play with the ball. They hang back. They watch the dog be stupid, and they go, I'll cover the mess of the dog. When that dog runs for the header and he misses it, I'll be behind. I'll sweep up. I'll be there. And it's great if you have a good partnership of a cat and a dog. Talked about it before, but two cats, well, you need good defensive midfielders. You've got two cats because you need them to do the work. Two dogs, chaos. At times Romero and Van der Ven are two dogs,
yes.
And that's where it gets mad. We have to keep trying to tell Romero, who's a natural dog, to be a bit of a cat, and then it kind of works out a bit. But what we can definitely see when we look through some of these bonuses is when we see a dog, they are a bit more of a winner than they used to be, because they used to be quite rash. They would commit more fouls. They would pick up more yellow cards. So the dog never won on BPS. So what I'm saying is FPL Towers is a dog person and has said cats have had their day. We're on dogs. Imagine if anyone just flicked onto the podcast and just got to that part and just went, I'm just going to listen to that. Because what we can see here, Konza, 64 fouls won. That's carrying the ball. That's going up for headers. It's doing all that stuff. Torres, 10 fouls won. Cat, he's just watching the chaos happen. He's not getting involved in that.
Longley the
That's
same.
That's, Longley can play that role. All of those type of players that play that more withdrawn role doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. So yeah, keep an eye out for those. That's just a natural stuff. Back to Villa. Ollie Watkins is ridiculous. 29 bonus. It would go to 36.
Yeah,
like it can't go much higher.
Yeah, that's bordering on the best you can see. I mean, like up to, like around the seven line for baseline is just
For a goal
mad
scorer.
for a goal scorer. It's just
For a goal
it's
scorer.
not. Yeah, and I think we're almost going to have to redefine it in our minds what the right baseline is now, aren't we? We're going to have to rework it in our heads. Like what is the correct baseline for this type of position? Because the baselines, if you weren't aware, the baselines tend to follow a set position. So your high volume passing midfielders and your creative types will be around, the good ones will be around 15, 16, something like that, or were in the past. And your wide forwards would be around the 9, 10, 11, 12 if they're good. And then the strikers would be anything from 2 to up to like 5, 6 if they were great.
Yeah, like
some of them,
like Harry Kane, when everyone said he played defensive midfielder, was still like a 6.
Yeah, he was still
and
like
would reap it.
Yeah, basically. So he would be at the top end of that. But you think like the Darwins were. I mean, you can see Watkins here, for example, 3.6.
If Watkins gets pens, he could. This could be a 50-point bonus season.
Yeah. Huge.
Yeah, it's FPL Copycat should ask a question. It says, how do you figure out what it would go to Watkins to 36? So basically, you missed that. Our friend Pete, FPL team, is recalculated every single game based on the new scores, and hence why we know that based on last season he'd have got 36. But yeah, you give him penalties, and when we're looking at this in terms of players that like we're interested in here, the penalty take is a big deal. Like Tielemans, McGinn, Bailey, Watkins.
Yeah, whoever picks up that is going to have.
Whoever gets it, they've already got big baselines.
Definitely.
I think Tielemans is probably the best penalty taker, but would you give it to someone who's not necessarily on the pitch all the time?
Well, this is it. I just don't know whether he's going to play enough minutes. I mean, one player we don't have on here, obviously, is Morgan Rogers, who seems to be lighting up pre-season, and people are starting to rave about. So, but I don't. Has he taken penalties in pre-season? I don't even know.
No, I don't think so. But Diaby's just got the here we go. Just before we came on the pod. But yeah, I mean, if ever there was a time for Watkins to fully take Kane's number 9 position for England,
to go and learn to take penalties, and now's the time.
Learn to take penalties, because it's genuinely, it'll be something that people focusing on.
Yeah.
When your two biggest rivals are Tony and Kane.
Yeah.
It just makes Watkins tough. We're going to have him in our team for a lot this season.
Yeah. Bournemouth. Any more on Villa? Bournemouth?
Nah, Bournemouth.
Defense is bad. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a baseline for a defender of 4 before, and there's 2 of them here. Aarons and Kirkes. Like,
I've never seen a baseline of 4.
So let's just put this into context. You get 6 for playing 60 minutes. Like, you just get 6 baseline for playing 60 minutes. So they're actually performing worse than just being on the. They could just stand in the corner Although actually, if they did that,
Yeah.
they'd probably concede more goals. So, but a lot of these are like goals conceded, right, as well. So that's these defenders. Honestly, these defenders and keepers are just getting pummeled by by goals being conceded in games.
Yeah. Yeah. So they seem managed to hold himself up reasonably well. But um
I
mainly
mean,
because he probably doesn't play on
what
games,
with
but
what with like
just in
6?
general, it's just so I guess it just leads to Semenyo and Solanke, if they're playing, which we assume they are playing, they probably will reap a lot of the bonus. One of the things on Solanke is that last season there was a period where I sold Solanke last season. Do you remember when a lot of us sold him and he was like 70, 80% owned? It was like you got to take him on at some point.
Mm,
Um, but my reasoning for taking him on was that he just never got top bonus.
yeah,
Like even because, and one of the reasons why he never got top bonus is because the opposition always got it.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It's because we got these defenders doing what they're doing and conceding all these goals. He never did enough. He got the solitary goal in 40. So he got 14 goals where he got one goal. 14 games where he got one goal. That's And he got 14 bonus with that. So it was like, well, even if he scores, he's only gets 7 points. It's gonna be all right. It's not gonna kill me. Because he rarely gets the brace. He doesn't do those things. He gets the solitary goal. Only
but now like who is he
one.
competing with now though? Again, I go back to this like when the striker scores and everyone's baseline is so like not
Yeah,
sure everyone's baseline is so squashed, but if he's the problem I think he's got is going to be shots on target, right? I mean, he's going to get his shot on target for when he scores a goal, but I'm just thinking about in teams like Bournemouth and Fulham and these kind of teams, if you have a team that where they're 3-0 down and then they score, like is this a 6-point goal? Is this a 5-point goal? Probably.
mm,
It's probably a 5-point goal more than a 6. But you did used to have
yeah,
occasions in the past where they were 7-point goals.
yeah. I mean, he does. Look, his baseline at 2 was because he doesn't hit the target.
Yeah.
He got 37 shots on target. He took 97 shots. He took
Yeah,
97
that's a
shots for
lot.
his 37 on target.
Yeah.
Like he's crap at finishing in general.
I
Like it.
I mean, I haven't looked at what his XG was. I mean, just wondering at the quality. It doesn't feel like Solanke's going to be the type of guy that's banging them from 25 yards every time either, is it?
He's
Like he's going to be
absolutely
shooting
fine at
from
that.
inside the box.
Absolutely fine at that. But it's a solid bump. He gets fouled lots of times because he puts himself about. He
Yeah.
does all that stuff. Obviously, Unal has. So Semenyo goes to a midfielder, I think,
Yeah.
on the changes, but Unal's in, and now is starting up the top as well. And you're like, oh. All of it just says to me, I'm out on Solanke for now. Albeit you can't see a way that he's not getting 20 or bonus.
Yeah. Agreed. Brentford. It's just a bit miserable. No.
Yeah, it's really miserable. Do
Like
like when we looked at these, I started like for people watching on there, you'd be like, "Why are some of these things yellow?" I was like, "Well, I find them a little bit interesting." On this one, I was like, "I'm bored."
so, just for context for people who are listening, the only thing that's highlighted is Wissa's 15 bonus, and that's it.
Which is absurd. How, like again, Wissa got 15 bonus and it gets reclassified to 22 bonus.
Yeah, it's wildly big
And
with only
to
24
note,
shots on target. with only
to
20.
note, he took the pen on the weekend. So Thiago, the new striker, was on a hat trick. They got a pen and Wissa took it. So you'd still got to assume that Bumo or Tony, depends who's there, is going to be on it. But hey, if Tony's not there and then Bumo gets himself injured again, Wissa's a 5.5 bonus monster. It's definitely interesting, Wissa. Really interesting for me. But yeah, reclassified 22 bonus.
Mad. Are we done with Brentford already?
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
yeah, we got to go.
Okay, cool. Brighton. I think this is difficult. This was difficult putting this one together because actually, if you look at the number of games Like it's only Dunk and Gross that got over 30 games.
Yeah, that
And
is insane. How many of their players played less than 20 games?
it, yeah,
That is insane.
it is mad. And to be fair, I think it
What
goes
are they
to
doing to their
well. This was
players?
this was De Zerbi, wasn't it, in Europe and stuff like that. He was just trying to make sure that all of his players were ready for Europe, I guess, more than anything. He was always talking about last season, like the lack of cleans that you saw in the league was sort of being people they were keeping cleans in Europe and whatever. Obviously led to his demise in the end. De Zerbi,
The back
obviously.
line
So
play it round a load, don't they? Because their baselines, like as a collective, for the whole set of baseline for anybody that's in the defensive part to be like the lowest old baseline was like nearly 14.
yeah,
It
it's pretty decent.
it's pretty decent. It is pretty decent. They just didn't keep that many cleans. You know, if they kept cleans, it'd been there. But
And that's it. And that's why the changes hammered them. Like it's because they just didn't keep cleans. And even if you just concede one, your baseline just sinks. Right?
we've got to talk about João Pedro.
So
you've just said that Watkins with a baseline of 7 is mental.
Yeah, João Pedro
And
with a baseline of 14 as a 5.
Adjusted baseline is 14.3 because it's the fouls won. You've seen it, like we talked all last season about. He's always looking for pens. He's just like we talked about. Like I remember someone saying, "Why do you think he's horrible?" This is why I think he's horrible. Like someone actually asked in the comments, like, "Why do you think João Pedro's horrible?" 60 fouls won, mate. He is horrible. Like he is a naughty little player that will do anything he can to gain an advantage. And it's going to pay in the bonus. It's 100% going to pay in the bonus as long as he plays.
Yeah. This is it. As long as he plays. Greg's just mentioned in the chat. He's saying, "I was amused to see Brighton have 23 midfielders listed in FPL."
That is a phenomenal stat.
Yeah, I don't even know how that's even possible, but that's wild. Obviously, João Pedro not. Well, I was just going to say João Pedro didn't go to Japan, right, on tour. So has there been any communication as to what that is?
No one seems to know why.
Because I mean, people obviously just speculating it's injury wise. It could be personal, family matter.
Yeah,
it could be anything, right?
Could be.
So
could be.
I don't think it's worth speculating too much. Hopefully, we'll see him. I mean, if we do see him, then I think he's going to be. You know, if people are looking to get Haaland, Salah, Pedro's like the lock.
But there's plenty of good 5.56 strikers, so it could be a case that someone picks one to go off them to get to Pedro. But at any point, what this is basically saying to me is Pedro could waltz in with a 9-pointer just off one goal, off a dodgy pen.
Yeah, because he'll take it and everything.
And if João Pedro's not playing, and Gross is on pens.
Hold on, let me just scenario this, because you just said, so if João Pedro wins a penalty and scores the penalty, does that mean he gets what it means? He gets 1 for a foul, and two for a shot on target,
2 for a shot on
24
target,
for a goal,
yep,
3 for the winning goal,
yep,
6 for playing,
yep.
Okay, we're off. Gross.
Nick Moore's just in the chat, reported rib injury.
Okay, it'd be fine by the start of the season. That's no problem.
We can't not mention the fact that Gross got 29 bonus already, which is humongous. And we'll get even more with a baseline of 18.
Just any time
just ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's like whatever.
But how often is he going to get? So I mean, he has to.
Well, if he stays, because there was rumours he was going to clear off.
He has to make sure that whatever he does isn't a return involving João Pedro, because he's not going to get top bonus, is he? He's never getting top bonus if João Pedro gets an assist. If João Pedro gets an assist, he probably will.
There's a brilliant video James Alcott did on Hertzler, the new Brighton manager, where he talks about how he uses twin 10s, and 10s are the big deal for him. And you're like, how could you let Gross go? Just play him, but you could see Gross and João Pedro both playing those 10s, and you're like, well, that's going to be.
There's still got so much in there with the players that.
But then how do you play two 10s? But then how do you play Matoma, and how do you play?
Well, Enciso's not on this list. I mean, Ansu Fati, is Ansu Fati still there? Or has he gone back? I don't know.
I think he's gone back.
But Who else have I missed on this? So Buonanotte's there, and
Barco, we got the young guy.
Barco's. Yeah, he'll be in defence. I'm missing someone
Yeah.
in my head. I can't think who it is. Maybe I'm not missing someone. Maybe they are all there. But that's just
Lallana's gone.
a lot of players, isn't it?
I don't know. But Gross and
João Pedro.
Yeah.
Chelsea. Palmer gets better. Palmer gets better, which I think is, that's expected. He leads the team in shots, right? He takes the most shots.
Yeah.
Whether that comes down because depending on what role Nkunku plays in this side, because obviously we've got no stats, no data for Nkunku.
Was it Solly March? Sam Carr just said, was it Solly March?
Oh God, Solly March, yeah. Solly March is another one.
And Fast Air said Lamptey. There's so many players there.
God.
Yeah, but Solly's the one.
Yeah, Solly's the one.
Chelsea.
Yeah, Palmer. How's Nkunku gonna impact this? Is my only.
Yeah, we just don't know.
We just don't know where he's going to play.
We don't know, but historically, a reverse out of position is bad on bonus, aren't they? Because
their baseline's too low, and they only get the pickup from.
So they're good because they get the goals, like historically, like a Rashford type stuff, where they would always get lots of goals, but they wouldn't ever get many bonus for it. But with him, if he gets the shots on target and he wins the fouls, he could easily compete, because that's what you're sort of seeing with some of these guys. Like Madueke is probably the blueprint here, who goes from a 10 baseline to a nearly 14 baseline. I
just wonder what impact more. I guess I wonder what impact Nkunku more has on Palmer rather than the impact Nkunku has in terms of what he will take physically.
Yeah.
So he will take some of those shots away from Palmer, perhaps. It might take some of the key passes away from Palmer, perhaps. Right. I'm obviously speculating. Palmer's
got Dewsbury Hall as well. Where's is he going to play? Because he's his boy. Do you see on the weekend they were linked to Andreas Pereira?
No.
Yeah, no. That's exactly, your face is exactly my face when I saw Romano say that there was a link to Andreas Pereira. I was like, what?
I did see some link to a player that was there. Pereira wasn't there before, was he?
Yeah.
Was he? I don't know.
No, Pereira was at Man United before.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wonder. I'm sure they were linked. I'm sure they were linked with another former Chelsea player, and I remember someone had tweeted saying, "Lads, you can just keep hold of them and not have to sell them along."
But yeah, obviously Nico Jackson, Palmer, it does strengthen their position. Gallagher, he stays. All of the midfielders, it is where it is. Gusto probably is the one that holds up better than virtually any defender I'm seeing, really. So Gusto with a BPS of 12. He still lost 3. But yeah, you were talking to me, I think, before, and we were talking about peaks and where are some ones. What I did look at when I looked at Gusto, where he did get them, sometimes he just has mad games where he gets 20, 25 baseline and stuff like that. Those games will still happen for him.
But we have to ask the I know I'm going to ask this. We have to ask the question whether he's going to get all the minutes, because
James.
Because Reece James is there, and we don't know how long Reece James will last. But Reece James, club captain, how long is he going to sit on the sidelines? There's also Chilwell's not on here as well. I'd imagine his baseline used to be really low though, didn't it? Because he was so attacking. It was nuts. So he probably won't benefit from this.
What about Sanchez? If Sanchez is reported that Sanchez is favoured for the number 1 spot, he's only 4.5, isn't he?
But they are looking for a new keeper. There's talk of new.
Talking about Lunin, weren't they?
Well, they're talking about swap with Real for
Yes, Kepa.
Send him the other way. Anything else on Chelsea?
No, that good.
That good.
Nico Jackson. It's a bump. It's
definitely
12 to 17. It's a bump.
Definitely. Okay, Palace. So there's a few. I think there's a few caveats to take away from this. Obviously, with Elise
Yeah.
leaving, that obviously hurts them quite a lot. But Eze's really the standout. Like Ayew surprised me though. Like how does Ayew just get
Ayu's
fouled?
94 fouls won.
Is that just because he's always dribbling with the ball? I mean, I think he scored one of
No,
the
he's
ridiculous
horrible.
goals.
I'll go back to my horrible. Do you not remember the game against Tottenham where he actually scored at the end of the game against Tottenham? He played against us, and he was just winding the ref up with. He would do little fouls, but then he gets little fouls against him. So one of the reasons why his baseline is so low at 6.6 is because he commits lots of fouls too. I think there was a stat where at one point he was like the most fouled and the most fouler
Yeah.
of players. Is that he is it's just not he's a horrible guy to play against. But yeah, in my mind, before I saw all of this, I was like, right, defenders and keepers lose bonus. We know that. It rewards the players that get fouled a lot, that take lots of shots. I'm like, Eze, he's going to go through the roof. It's going to just be like, boom, all Eze points and those bits of it. And you're like, well, his baseline does. He goes from 10 to 15. That's fantastic. But he did only get 12 bonus last season and 11 bonus last season, and he would have only got one more with that reclassification. And a lot of it is because they always played with a striker.
Yeah.
So, between them, Edouard and Mateta would have got 34 bonus between them. So the number 9 definitely has been something that they feed, and then you've got Elise as well. And then the defense did okay with it. Anderson pops up with the odd goal and clean. Mitchell had the assist and the clean at Anfield, which was a haul, and I think he did it in another game. I think he did that twice, which means that, and that's one of the reasons why Mitchell and Anderson basically have kept a lot of their bonus, is because they had that. Anderson got, obviously, you mentioned the other day, got his goal and clean at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I mean, Eze only 24 starts. I think is one thing.
It's still going to go to Eze, isn't it?
Yeah,
Eze's still going to be a very, very strong. But I think my immediate thoughts when they were announced were like, Eze's going to be like a 30-point bonus man, and I'm not 100% convinced that's the case. But I do think Mateta's going to be strong again.
Yeah, it depends how much they can feed him.
It.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Everton. The short list. The short list that is Everton.
It's a short list, but just looking at this, you've got 6 players with double-digit bonus in a team. Don't see that very often.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. Quite well shared. It's quite well shared, but again, they hardly scored any goals last year. This was their biggest problem, was obviously scoring goals, and this is what now the new bonus in particular is going to reward, is going to be scoring goals. Yep. And with their baselines being pretty low across the board as well, Calvert-Lewin, if he scores and they clean, like, he's chewing top bonus.
Yes.
So, like, he's like, if Everton have a little run, he's a really, really good option.
30 shots on target from 26 games.
It's better than Solanke, right? I'm just putting out, it's better than Solanke.
It's big. Gets fouled at least once per game. Gets at least one shot on target a game. It like I say, if he goes on a run, it's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
And Pickford's an interesting one, because I did some quick analysis on. I was looking at basically what happens, because we want a scenario. What happens is if a decisive goal happens. I'm using decisive like so rare, but if you get a goal or an assist, or a striker gets a goal, and let's say your highest baseline defending player gets a clean sheet, how does that look last year versus this year? And obviously last year, when you had high baseline players like Pickford, for example, and he gets a clean on 15 baseline, he gets 27, roughly 27, right? Let's say. And Calvert-Lewin on his 2.4, if he gets 24 for the goal, and let's for argument's sake, let's call it not a winning goal, but then his goes up to 26. So Calvert-Lewin is not beating Pickford when he scores a goal, even if Everton clean, right? And that
Yeah.
that happened quite often. So like just to quickly go down, like Villa, Martinez, he was
Yep.
above Watkins. Neto was above Solanke. Flecken was above Tony. Thiago Silva was above Jackson. Pickford above DCL. Leno above Muniz. Robertson was above Nunes. Walker above Haaland. Onana above Hoyland. Dubravka above Isak. Vicario above Richarlison. And that's Richarlison based on 24 points for a goal as a reclassified striker.
Yeah. So
And
keeper smash.
yeah, and Areola ahead of Antonio, and now none of them. Like none of these
None of them.
keepers can get close now.
Yeah.
Mad.
The only thing with this one, and I was saying on the weekend, it's almost like with defenders and keepers, you want to know what's the baseline when they don't concede versus when they do. Because realistically, the times that they get bonus is when they don't concede. So does it matter that Pickford goes from 15 baseline to 10? Not really, because he only got one of his 22 bonus when they conceded. He
Yeah.
actually got 21 of them when they cleaned. So technically, his baseline in all of those is still 15 in that. So he's still got a strong chance. You know, he lost basically those 7. I think there was one game that he lost 2 bonus, and then there were 5 others where he lost 1.
Mm.
So he didn't lose all his bonus. He just went down 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was, I think the Bournemouth game, he had 2, but Decore and Garner both got like an extra 6 and then would have bumped him out. But all the other games I looked at, he would have just got nicked down by 1, nicked down by 1, nicked down by 1. So he's still in the mix all the time on Pickford. I still think I'd back Pickford to be the one, really, in terms of bonus that's out there. It's whether you want to spend 5 million.
Yeah.
But the fixtures aren't terrible. Not terrible at all. Obviously, if Brownthwaite goes, definitely not. If Michael Keane plays, no chance.
And on that note,
and obviously the fact that Onana's not going to be there, or looks like he's not going to be there, which you assume Diaby getting the here we go probably means Onana gets the here we go with the money very, very shortly after. So yeah, it's a wait and see.
Yeah. Okay. Fulham.
Ricardo Muniz.
Ricardo. His name's Rodrigo, but yeah.
Rodrigo.
Close.
Who's Ricardo Muniz? Is that someone else?
I don't know.
Rodrigo Muniz.
Yeah.
Who's Ricardo?
I don't know. You thinking Ricky P? No. I don't know.
Ricky P. Maybe I was just dreaming about Ricky. Pete dreams about it fixing this. I dream about Ricky P. But again, similar to the Chelsea one, striker's got 28 bonus between them. That's quite a lot. You know, Jimenez and Menez played 18 game starts each, so that's your season.
That's
basically.
your season 28 bonus. Thanks very much.
And on the recalculation, 28. The thing with Menez, like he was already good. Like he got 7 goals, and got 12 bonus. Or 7 games he scored in. Sorry, not 7 goals, but 7 games scored. He was already getting pretty decent numbers. I was explaining to you earlier because when I was doing my manual research, you sort of looked at some games. You're like, this is a wild game. But the game they played against Palace, which was a 1-1 game, Schlupp and Wharton were on top bonus with 26. Castagna was on 1 bonus, 22. Muniz was well out of it on 20. But he had 2 shots on target and got fouled 5 times in one game.
Yeah.
So he goes from 20 up to 29, takes the lot.
Takes everything.
And that's where he got those 3. He went from 0 to hero. An 8.39 baseline in general he's just a good target man, isn't he? He gets a lot of fouls because he goes up for a lot of headers, does all that stuff. Gets his shots on target. 15 bonus from half a season.
Yeah, I mean he scored against us, didn't he, in game week 29, I think.
Yeah.
I think that was the patch. He had a pretty he had a purple patch. But when he does, because he went quite kind of quiet at the end of the season, I think that's just something to watch.
Yeah.
Because he didn't score for the last 4 or 5 games. So just, if he does get a turn of fixes and he picks up a little bit of, for lack of a better term, form, then maybe he is an option. Maybe he's an option. He's probably the better option in this side. I know we've highlighted Kearney with a baseline change up to 22.36. I mean,
I'm not sure how often he plays anymore.
is this? Yeah,
and he club captain.
He's club captain. Yeah, he's club captain, but he's like 30. He's only like 32, I think.
He looks younger though.
Yeah. But I just don't think he's going to get in the side, is he?
Not many midfielders we saw go backwards, but Pereira and Kenny managed to both lose a baseline.
Lose a bonus last year.
But just in general, right, if you just assume Tom Kenny doesn't play, those midfielders, the baselines aren't massive, are they? So if you have low baselines in the defence, and the defence did pretty well. The defence got 37 bonus last season.
Yeah.
Obviously, Leno got 15 of them. But those points have got to go somewhere. Perhaps it goes to the opposition.
The opposition attackers.
Yeah, no, as you said it, you were like, yeah, it's not going down there. It's probably going somewhere else. Well, it's target for them.
Yeah. Right. Before we move on to Liverpool,
yes,
just want to
there's some big teams, isn't there? When you do the old A to Z, the big teams are at the back half, really.
Yeah, they are at the back half, apart from maybe West Ham. But right, we're basically in the middle now.
That's dig.
Cheers, mate. So we've got like 235 of you in here. So if you are enjoying this podcast, then please do make sure you give it a like on YouTube, and if you want to see more from us, hit subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, find one of those little buttons where you can rate the podcast and leave us a little comment. Let us know what you think of the podcast.
Yeah,
plenty going on this pre-season. We've got a podcast coming up on Tuesday. I won't be there, but Baker will be. And do we?
We can say it well. I've sent him the calendar invite. I've just seen our friend JC Spaceman's just turned up in the chat. So analytics guys will definitely know this person. I am chatting to Ted Knutson. I must call him Knutson.
Okay.
Do the pronunciation. See, you're better at this than me. This is the problem with the pronunciation. But this is a guy that worked at Brentford. The head of recruitment, introduced the analytics world that we talk all about, the set piece world, and then just started Stats Bomb. Quite a big deal.
Yeah.
Got a new venture, the transfer flow, and I'm going to ask him everything we can about how we use data and as many players and teams as he can give us some insight on them. So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Excellent. Yeah, really, really, really looking forward to that. Unfortunately, this is the wrong way to say it, but I have family this week up with me, so we're taking the priorities. I'm prioritizing them over podding, but we will have it. It's not going to be live. It's going to be recorded. It'll be released on Wednesday morning. Yeah. I think it will. So yeah, for everybody's listening, pleasure then. We are coming up to an hour, mate, so we need to keep going through these teams. We are on to Liverpool next. And Liverpool are...
Look at those top two.
Baseline darlings.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just a huge... I mean, even the change is like still quite good. still quite good. Like Robbo's adjusted new baseline is still massive. It's like better than every other most teams pre-change baseline.
Yes, it's better than most teams. Every player on every team post change, including attackers. It's better than Saka, like we just looked at there, and the likes of Odegaard and all those ones. So, Robbo interesting? Maybe if he's fit.
Maybe if he's fit.
He had quite the rest in the summer.
3 games and then feet up. He did. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how that Liverpool back line sets up. I mean, there's options now. Like Gomez has played in that position, and Kanate's there, Kwanzaa's there. I've been speaking to a couple of Liverpool fans that are saying like, don't sleep on Kwanzaa. You know, he might be the one to come in alongside Van Dijk. You know, and I'm like, oh, okay, interesting.
If I can offer a cat and dog,
Yeah,
Kanate's got more dog in him. Matip had dog in him. Like Kwanzaa doesn't have dog in him, and Van Dijk has not got the legs to be the dog. Like Van Dijk's a perfect cat. Like
yeah,
he feels cat, you know, the way he is and so forth. You know, he only got 13 fouls, one. You don't see him like he's perfect, more of a sweeper. Kwanzaa, when I look at this and like 2 fouls, one in 13 games, nah. Kanate, 13 fouls in 17 games. There's my dog.
yeah. No, fair enough.
Like, but I'm really interested in that player that plays that position. If Kanate looks like he's the one, there's dog signs. He's 5.0. The start of the season looks absolutely fantastic. Yeah, he's interesting.
Yeah, and
As
then
is Robbo.
and then we move further down the line. Szoboszlai obviously is the standout baseline change. Well, no, the standout baseline change is Salah. It is just
and
Salah.
Jota. And Jota. Like Jota goes from 6 to a 10.
Well,
Imagine
yeah,
thinking of
that.
Jota as like a double-digit baseline guy.
There's always minutes though. It's always minutes with these guys, right?
Yes.
Whereas I feel like Mac is going to be locked in. Salah's locked in. Outside of that, actually, I couldn't actually pick like the rest of the Liverpool front line. Like, is it going to be Nunez? Is it going to be Gakpo? Or is it going to be Gakpo down the middle and Nunez on the left and no Diaz? Or is it going to be Jota down the middle and Gakpo on the left and no Nunez and Diaz? Is it? I mean, Szoboszlai feels like locked in as well. Sob and McAllister, Salah on the right. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
An Endo obviously.
I mean, we've talked about it, but if Trent goes, Szoboszlai with a baseline of 16, and then he starts taking more set pieces.
Yeah, that'd be nuts.
He could make a mockery of 6.5.
Yeah.
Could happily make a mockery. I'm assuming that Gakpo's is inflated because he played a lot left 8. You know,
probably
not necessarily it, but I remember one of the things of playing so rare over the summer and so forth is that Gakpo actually and the UEFA game with ball recoveries, Gakpo does a lot of work, does a lot of stuff, which potentially is good for a baseline. Like if he's I mean, he would have been 17 bonus from 17 starts. He was already 12 bonus from 17 starts.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty sensational, you know, is in terms of the numbers is if we can just try and nail down slot and work out what we think is going to happen. Those fixtures are there. Maybe you do need Salah +1.
Okay.
Does it make you think a bit more about Trent at 7.0?
I'm not convinced about spending 7 million on a defender at all.
Yeah,
like, I've got zero interest. Like as you say, like Szoboszlai at 6.5. I'm looking around at all the other. I know it's a position we have to fill, but again, you're doing these like, you have to do like the pairings, right? Would you rather take a Trent at 7 plus a 4.5 midfielder, or would you take a 4.5 defender plus your 7?
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely better options. I mean, if you just go 0.5 up, Gordon's up there, Maddison's up there. Like, we're going to see, we haven't reached Newcastle or Spurs yet, but Gordon's there and Maddison are just there. So let's go to Man City.
The old and new baselines of this, like, just get to this part of the pod if you were listening to it and go look at it and see it, and you're like, oh my god, we'll timestamp every club so you can go through each of the clubs, but go and look at the baselines that you're dealing with.
You just feel every game there's going to be 3-2-1 are going to come from City, right? Almost every game you feel like it's just going to come from them.
Yeah. You know, Foden's probably the first thing is that he benefits. Well, he's on the thumbnail, isn't this? He benefits in terms of total BPS change, like more than anyone, 156 extra on his baseline. But similar to Saka, he gets 1 extra bonus for that. what I probably hadn't realised on Haaland was that he got 31 bonus last season, but he got top bonus 9 times.
Yeah, so you can't really
9 times.
improve. You either get nothing.
Can't.
Yeah, and the times he's not getting bonuses, the times he's not scoring.
So his 27 points there were just even more solid than they would have been. So there's that bit about it of like it does reinforce it. Like it almost can be a case of like for me who's just a bonus pervert who just refreshes the app every 2 seconds looking to see how it changes. I'd be like, well, not going to change now. Foden's there, he's gone. I mean, the rumours sound like De Bruyne could be off to Saudi. That's really gathering pace if Foden gets a more guaranteed almost central role. But also Alvarez. Like Alvarez again as a striker at 12.5. Hey, if Alvarez and Foden are playing every game, I don't know if you need Haaland.
Is there enough though? Well, just because they'll pick up 2 anyway. Because they'll probably pick up 2 and 1 anyway, and you can if you pick up 2 and 1 from your 2 City. So Alvarez is what 7, and Foden's 9.5, right? So he's got 16.5 million. And let's say in a given game that I know you're talking 2 for 1 here, but Haaland gets a goal, gets all 3 bonus. That's cool, but then like Foden gets the assist, gets 2 bonus. Or no, Alvarez gets the assist, gets 2 bonus, and then Foden gets all the fun baseline stuff and gets the 1 bonus. Like, are you covering yourself there?
It's almost as well the thing you're thinking with Foden and Alvarez. If KDB goes, you're basically getting all of the set pieces. You're getting all the set pieces. You're getting all your corners. You're getting all the direct free kicks. You got a lot for it.
I was wondering about this. I heard the rumors about KDB going, but I also heard rumors that he might not be going.
It's really gathered pace today. Really gathered pace today. Yeah, you've been having to do the old family time.
Yeah, so I'm going to look now. I'm using So Rare again as a base to this.
Is everyone selling him?
Everyone sold him up until about 6 o'clock, and then everyone bought him back. And his price went right
said
back up.
3 hours ago, it's not true.
Yeah, it went straight back. So from 6 o'clock, it hit its lowest price, and then he shot straight back up to where he was earlier.
Oh, City Report have also gone a breaking.
All changed. He signed a new contract, probably.
Yeah, probably signed a contract. Well, that's that in the bin. That's that in the bin. Because if he doesn't, I mean, look at this though.
20.
You've got it doesn't make sense. So on these revised bonus baselines, there are 3 non-City players in the league who have a baseline over 17. One of them was Tom Kearney.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's Gross, and the other one's still to come. City have got 4. City have got more than the rest of the league.
Amazing. It's just the control, right? It's just the control of every game, and it doesn't really matter which player.
They've got 5, haven't they?
Over what?
They've got 5 over 17. Got De Bruyne, Doku, Foden, Kovacic, and Rodri. And Bernardo's not far off it.
Yeah, and Grealish probably wouldn't be too far off it if he played enough because of all the fouls he wins.
Even with all this stuff, like the defenders still, even all of their defenders still manage to keep a baseline of over 10.
Yeah, every single one of them. But Edison is getting nowhere near the bonus, which is no change from normal.
Of course he can't. Look at it. It's going to get even less near the bonus because the attackers are now getting even more for the 3 goals a game they score.
Less, yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, Rodri's.
But Vardiol, does it make you think anything on Vardiol?
Well, I mean, they're clean, right? So if he cleans, then he's above. I mean, thankfully, he gets above everyone else, provided that nobody else returns.
And who cares if he's scoring every bloody game?
Well,
do you know what I mean? Like, people talk about not being able to go into home Ipswich without Haaland. I just captain Vardiol.
Yeah.
Has that ever worked out well for you?
Pretty well. Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Like I'm just as scared of not going into that home Ipswich without Vardiol as I am of not going into it without Haaland. To note on Haaland, right? So he got 29. 7 times he got top bonus. So 21 of the 29 from that. He got at least a brace in each of the times he got top bonus. That's still going to be the case.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if he gets a brace, he gets 2 cleans, he gets 2 shots on target plus 2 goals.
Yeah.
You know, it's still massive numbers. So yeah, if he keeps bracing and hat tricking, he'll still keep scoring lots of bonus. But the single goals were an issue, and they will definitely continue to be an issue. They'll probably be more of an issue because they don't win games 1-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably will gain a little bit, but it's not. It's just not likely to be that much.
Yep. Right, 6 to go. Let's go. Man United.
So, of these teams we've just looked at, this happens every single BPS pod, and it feels bad on Man United. Is Liverpool have 13 players with double-digit baselines. Yeah, then
City is everyone but Haaland.
City's everyone but Haaland, and then you move into this. Yeah.
That has to improve if they're going to compete. I mean, just generally, and I would say that not saying that fantasy is reality, but generally, if you're playing well and you're winning games, your baseline is high as a team, right? And especially when you're more attacking, we see that with Liverpool in particular.
Yeah.
So when you see numbers like this, I mean, yes, it's reflective of last year, but that's just to say, like, next year it has to improve if they want to compete, right?
Yeah.
And from a fantasy point of view, I mean, the defense feels just like a no-go. Again, I mean, a lot of these defenses feel like no-goes.
It's still like, okay, but it probably is no.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't
58 goals is so many though. Like, there's so many goals.
It's so many. I know. A lot of people are obviously looking at Martinez at 4.5 and saying that's underpriced because he's, you know, one of the best defenders in the world. But
yeah, obviously his data's not here, is it? But...
No, because he's injured all the time. But
so is it just pick Bruno in the good fixtures or pick Bruno in any fixture, really? Because
it's about, do you just set him? Because the thing on Bruno, right, is that he's almost, the games he scored in, he only gains 1 bonus in the games he scored in, but he already got 20 bonus. 20 of his 24 bonus were games he scored in. Yeah, he scored in 8 games. And so you're like, he's now just going to get free bonus every time he scores. The thing to keep an eye on are like, what if we go back to Man United getting a dozen penalties in a season?
Yeah.
If we go back to that time, you know, and part of that comes on, do we have a fluid attacking unit? Because if it's Ugarte and Mainu in centre midfield and he's more freed up and the whole team is moving further forward and the whole team's playing well, it's going to get more pens.
Yeah.
Again, 8.5 feels really low for Bruno.
There's definitely opportunity if you can fit him in, but you're also trying to slot him in where Foden should be, almost, and where Palmer should be, and where Saka should be.
It's tough to have all of them though, but maybe an 8.5, maybe an 8.5.
Are you having him over Odegaard?
Easier. I've seen a lot of people being like, oh well, I'll go Odegaard over Saka and all that stuff, and I'm like, I think I'll go Bruno over Odegaard. I just think talisman. I look at this and it just screams talisman. Obviously, you know, Garnacho will get a little bump because of him, but Garnacho's streaky as hell. Like he scored 3 braces last season. That's where he got his 7 bonus from. Well, the 7 bonus became 8 bonus because he got 3 braces.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a player that scores regular braces, then you're going to get goodness. And then Højlund, well, Can you consider, like, it's not a great season for him, but he still would have ended up with 19 bonus and 25. Pretty good.
It's quite good. Quite
Pretty
good.
good. But yeah,
Okay.
not against anyone starting the season and just leaving Bruno in their team all season.
Moving on to Forest then. We'll leave that.
Oh yeah, Forest.
I mean, I'm still a little bit interested in Hudson-Odoi, but
Yeah,
he's okay in this dynamic. He's okay. He's now the best for baseline. He's more likely to get returns. I mean, Wood feels fine as a start. Awani's not going to be ready for the start of the season, I don't think.
Your Wood feels fine.
Absolutely. Fine. Wood feels fine, and I was going to say I've got a soft
You're
spot.
gonna make a Pete joke.
I was going to say a soft spot for Chris Wood there, but yeah, it's just a pretty. I mean, it's just Forest, right? So we're not going to be. There's nothing really too exciting.
It's the fun. It's the fun in it. The attackers are still going to be the ones. Still going to be the ones. You know, Gibbs White, Hudson-Odoi, Wood. I mean, Taiwo looked like he was fit today, or he's posted nice pictures of himself, so suggesting he's fit, which might put Williams. But they're good opening fixtures. Having one of Gibbs White, Hudson-Odoi, or Wood feels fine.
Yeah,
more than fine. I don't think I want two.
I don't know why we've highlighted Yates here and not Gibbs White's fouls 1 of 57. Did you highlight Yates just because of the number of fouls he commits? I mean, surely that's the other way around.
Again, I think I've got over fascinated on the players that I think are awful people.
Yeah, clearly.
But I think I'm just trying to nail on that point of repeatedly the people that we've called out as being awful people repeatedly over the last year all fall into this.
And they all benefit.
Yeah. The thing to see on the defense is whether the underlying start to match the outcomes, because this is as bad as it gets for bonus for defenders in a season. But the underlying baseline was good and the underlying numbers were good. Just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Just didn't work out. And they just keep signing new keepers. We don't know. They've got this Carlos Miguel, haven't they? I don't
know.
He's massive, 6'8".
Yeah. I lost track of the number of keepers they were going to buy.
Who's playing them? If we were really confident in the 4.5 and it was going to stay the 4.5 and that was the only person to play, but I can't do it.
No.
But yeah, whichever one fits your budget around it of what you need, I do. The funny thing is I probably like Gibbs White best out of some of the 6.5s, and I probably like Hudson-Odoi best out of some of the 5.5s, but I don't want both.
Oh, that's fair. I don't think you need to put too many eggs into the Forest basket.
Into the Forest basket.
Yeah. But as you say, fixtures are good to start with, especially first couple, and then you can pivot off.
Yeah.
Newcastle. I mean, it is very well touted. Obviously, Guimaraes has 108 fouls, which translates to an extra 3 on his baseline, 3 almost 4 on his baseline, which is pretty good. But he's obviously started every game. I mean, that's the one thing here. Actually, there's a lot of these numbers that get put in, but he played almost every single game this season.
Yes,
which is mad. And at some point, Tonali's going to come back into this as well, which we're not going to be aware of. Well, we're aware of it, but we're not going to have the data to show.
Or Sean Longstaff. Is he going to miss out when Tonali comes back?
Oh, surely.
Oh, he's one of their own.
So was Elliot Anderson, wasn't
he?
Sacked him off.
Do you think Barnes comes back on the left and they play Gordon right? The only thing I was wondering about is because obviously it looks pretty good for Gordon. Everyone looks at the fixtures and like Gordon. But I was wondering about, does Gordon go to the right, and whether that makes any difference?
Who was playing the right last season? This is not. I know
Jacob Murphy, 14 starts there.
Still okay.
Almiron got 23 starts.
He felt like he started the season and then just disappeared.
Yeah, so Almiron and Murphy basically were the main guys.
Was Joe Linton not playing out there as well? A little bit. Or was he
Joe
playing
Linton was
down
injured for most of it.
I know he was
He's more
injured.
the 8. So again, yeah, it's a question of do they go? Yeah, because Joe Linton, Tonali, and Bruno, that was supposed to be the
3.
midfield 3. No, in the idea, but that is the big thing on Newcastle. Like if Joe Linton and Tonali are back in that midfield, that's a significant upgrade.
Yeah.
Huge.
Versus Longstaff and Miley. I mean,
yeah,
like Miley's a tidy little player. He's a tidy little player, but
he's young, isn't he?
but he's young and still got some time.
JC says that they're looking to sign a new right wing. That'd be interesting then. Even does that impact some Gordon minutes? What do we see? But
Isak, great.
Isak just great, isn't it? Loads of shots on target.
Lots of shots.
Doesn't get many fouls because he's silky. He's too silky. Can't get near him.
Can't touch him. But his baseline goes up from almost 4 up to 7.5, and then he will just smoke people at 31 for a goal. Away he goes.
He did get a significant number of his bonus from bracing. So he did have 5 braces. He got 14 bonus from 5 braces, which would become 15 bonus. He would have got, that they were the. Actually, they weren't. They were still 14 because Gordon had a monster game in the same game as Isak. He got 50 on the baseline, 50 BPS, and still didn't get top bonus because Gordon got 52, I think. But yeah, in the other games, he scored 1 goal in 11 games, but he didn't get top bonus once. Didn't get top bonus once.
Oh,
Isak. In the 11 games where he scored a single goal. Okay. So that goes up. That's where his 4 bonus extra have come from.
Yeah,
is where he scored solitary goals. So he does get some extra. It's just really good. It's still, look at it. It adjusted 27 bonus from 27 starts on 3 points.
Yeah, I think you need to start with Isak.
You can't muck around.
I think you need to start. I think that's you can't. Yeah, you can't mess around there. You need to start with Isak.
And then Gordon feels like the type of player historically would have said doesn't get any bonus. Not on set pieces. Oh, well, it depends if Trippier's playing or not, but he can. Most of the time, he's not on set pieces. He's a winger, as our friend Walsh from FPL would say, he's a winger.
Yeah.
But it's 17 bonus for a winger that's a lot of bonus. That's a lot of bonus. But 67 fouls won, 30 shots on target. 30 shots on target. It's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, we know how clever Gordon is in terms of, like, Gordon and Isak feel like such a nice, comfortable double up because you know how good he is in the box, right, at winning fouls, particularly in the box.
Everything's saying it's better. Everything's saying it's better.
Yeah, and everything's saying that's better. And then you get Gordon winning fouls, winning penalties, Isak taking penalties.
What do you think about Dan Burn for 4.5? Because I think I saw Newcastle, Dan Burn, 4.5. Oh, I've got Newcastle. That's for 4.5. I'll do it. But I look at this and I'm like, well, he's the lowest baseline amongst his peers. They didn't keep a huge amount of clean sheets. Like, is it?
Yeah, I mean, their defense.
They've signed Lloyd Kelly. I like Kelly.
Yeah, but let's not. If you could look at so let's look at Nick Pope, right? And you look at Dubravka. So let's look at the goals conceded while they're in goal. I think that's important context to say, right?
Yeah, okay. Good context.
Pope 16 goals conceded in 15 games. Dubravka 42 goals conceded in 22 games. That defense improves massively when Nick Pope is in goal.
Tonali, Joe Linton.
Just add all the players in that are good, and they've got a much better team all around. So Dan Burn, I think, is a fine pick. I think with such a long-term injury for Pope last year, I think these baselines are slightly subdued. Yeah, slightly subdued. Yeah. So I think the defense is probably a little bit better than we.
It's probably overthinking it, not having Dan
Burn. Probably. Right, let's move on to Tottenham.
We've got 3 left.
3 left. And then we are done. We're doing well. We're normally like a 2-hour pod. We're at 1 hour and 25 at the moment. We're cruising.
smashing it.
We're cruising. So the big story obviously is Pedro Porro being the biggest loser.
So we had the biggest loser and biggest gainer.
Biggest loser and biggest gainer. Yeah.
So biggest loser, Porro.
But even like Romero had like huge losses as well. I was looking in games, like there was a game where they both dropped 2 points each. It was absolutely ridiculous. And there was a game against West Ham, and I think Porro gets the assist for Romero in that game, and we lose 2-1. And it would have been Romero, Porro, and James Ward-Prowse getting the bonus 3, 2, and 2. But with the adjustment, Bowen goes all the way to the top. Because Bowen's historically bad on bonus, but he takes a lot of shots, right? So a single goal for Bowen is pretty bad. You'll see his baseline coming up. Ward-Prowse keeps his 2, and Romero goes down to 1. So, like, in games again, I think it's leaning back to what you said previously, even like looking at like Everton, like in games where we don't clean, we're going to get punished, right? But these players are still good in games where we do clean. Now, we don't know, and I guess even as Spurs fans, we hope that defensively we are better than we were last year, because we know that we had frailties last year.
Yeah.
Is that because we've got dog Romero van de Ven? Possibly.
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Well, dog, and Basuma doesn't fancy being a cat. That's actually the big deal. Like saw the preseason friendly the other day, and you're like, Basuma's not being a cat again. He's just going to go wandering off and into the box and score. I'm like, damn it. We've talked about it. We need the two dogs to split, and we need a DM that just sits and cats it up. But the thing on Porro, like he drops to 11, it's still pretty good. Because do I think second season Ange gets 2 more cleans than last season? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. So do I expect Porro's overall points to drop this season? No.
That's fair.
I genuinely think that's a wild accusation. I think that will drop. I mean, he's still a good pick for me. He's still a really good pick. But the mids come into it. People like Brennan, who would have found it, I think, historically difficult to be involved in the bonus. Suddenly, could be. Probably still isn't.
Probably still isn't, and definitely needs to score though. Definitely needs to score. Like anything else is not.
Probably double. Probably a brace, or probably, he's the sort of guy historically probably could have braced and still not got top bonus. Suns, I mean, again, some of a baseline of 12 feels fantastic.
There's Son's a difficult one though as well, because we get half a season of him playing left side, and with Richarlison.
We have no idea.
And then we've got half a season of him playing centre forward with Werner down the left and Brennan down the left. And again, we still need to see what. It's difficult with Son. I think Son's really still difficult.
You've got to see a tour. You've got to see another month. Do you know what I mean? You've got to see what's going on in that one to take on. And the thing with Son, because the price he is like, okay, I'm taking on Saka with bad fix. I'm taking on Palmer.
Yeah.
It's really, really tough, the Son one, but let's see how it goes. Then we move on to the mids. We've got to Madison. We've got to Madison because he gets the biggest bump in the game. Gets 10-point bonus. So got 9 bonus and goes to 19.
He only went from 7 to 7.5. Right. This is what I've been looking at, some of the changes, right, in the pricing versus some of the changes that we've seen in the baselines, and they've kind of made sense. They soften the keepers a bit, they soften the defenders a bit, and that's all kind of making sense. It all kind of trending in the right direction. Haaland gets a big bump up, Foden gets a bump, Palmer gets a bump. Like, it all kind of makes sense. And then Madison gets the biggest bump in the game, and he gets a $500,000 price rise. Just feels.
There's no way on earth their pricing was reflective of what they decided to do a bonus. Like I said, I
try and give them some credit, mate.
They just chucked a few things out.
I'm trying to give them some credit.
All right. Are you trying to get on the show? Is that what we're doing? We get on the show this year.
If you want me, just above the average at FPL. No, it's not. I can't remember the email address now. Just above the average FPL at gmail.com. Just business inquiries there. Either me or Bacon. Go for it.
But 17 baseline for Maddison. Like it's good. It's good.
And it's way
really,
above
really
everyone
good.
in the team.
We talked repeatedly last season about him being quite petulant and stuff like that. Well, he also does it the other way. He gets fouls.
Wins fouls all the time.
Does Maddison fit into my criteria of bad people get fouls?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you think I think in the first like 5 minutes of the England friendly that he played before, the squad was cut, he was injured. Like he was injured and on the floor. In the first couple of minutes of that friendly against Hearts, where was he? He was on the floor.
Yeah, on the floor.
Just gets fouled.
Yeah.
All the time.
It gets fouled all the time. Because I reckon he just constantly chats. I just think he constantly.
Yeah. You'd want to smack him.
Yeah. I used to be that person. You wouldn't believe it, me. I used to be that horrible person. But 74 fouls, mate. That's a lot. That is a lot. We are the most fouled team in the league. Comfortably the most fouled team in the league. And we have the most shots.
Good.
It's great for our attack. It's fantastic. The issue with Maddison is minutes, because Kulusevski looks brilliant central, and I suspect that means that Maddison will be used as like a 70-minute player a lot of the time. I think that's likely. But he was.
I was going to say, does that matter?
he only got to 90 6 times last season.
That's nuts. We had no pens. That's a good point. We had no pens last year.
No pens.
Most fouled team, no pens. How does it make sense? Lads, just get in the box, please. Just get in the box.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Team of horrible players, JC says. Yes, absolutely. Love it.
Are we the Nazis?
Well, that's the end of all. That's the end of our monetization for this episode. Good work.
Damn it.
Anyway, no.
Yeah.
Yes, no. Right, West Ham.
Move on. Tottenham. Look, Maddison, if he plays, but also Maddison potentially takes set pieces off of Paro the more he plays as well, and they're all impact potential ones. Let's see where we go.
Can't believe you said that. I can't believe you said that.
It's the meme. It immediately comes to my head. It's the Peep Show meme. It's not my fault.
Oh my god. Anyway, right, West Ham. So Bowen benefits because he shoots a lot, which is great.
Yes,
and that's good. And Kudus gets fouled a lot, so we're saying he's terrible. But yes, again, that's
fouled. It takes more take-ons. Like in the top league. I think he took the most take-ons than any player in the league in the top 5 leagues, whatever they are last season. He's Kudus is interesting.
6'5", right? As well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Ward-Prowse, JWP in there again.
When banned from talking about him. Can't talk about it anymore.
You told me to highlight his baseline.
I just can't talk about him anymore. Can't do it.
Areola was one of the most. Well, I mean, like the rest of the defense is like, if you want anybody from West Ham defense, get Areola. It's still bad, but it's a lot better than everyone else, I guess.
It is. But we don't know the Lopetegui effect. Is like his numbers everywhere. He averages everywhere he's been like 0.4 cleans per game. That's huge numbers.
12 a season. 12, 13 a season. That's pretty good.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah. 12.4.
Yeah.
Well, it's like 15, 14.
Yeah. Good numbers for West Ham. Good number, really good number. Like 10 more than they got last season. So, so Areola.
Maybe.
There's a nice one, Areola and obviously Flappy are basically 4.5, 4.0. So you get Fabianski in the background for it. But obviously Kilman's Lopetegui knows him.
Yeah.
It's there.
Obviously his Wolves numbers here, but yeah.
Wolves numbers. His Zuma a dog or a cat?
Yeah. Well, it looks like he's a cat.
It does look like he's a cat. That's probably why he likes it.
That's so ironic, isn't it?
Horrendous.
Yeah,
Horrendous.
ruined the episode in the last 5 minutes.
Absolutely. I've done what I can to derail it. No one's here by now. No one's here by now. It's gone.
No one's here. Just 260 people, mate.
Damn it.
That's as many people as were here after 5 minutes, mate. So,
Yeah.
right. So, Kudu's interesting. JWP
Yeah.
banned. Zuma's a
Yeah.
cat, and Ariola's okay.
And maybe Bowen finally
Maybe Bowen's
does all
fine.
right bonus.
Yeah, maybe he just picks up a bit more. Okay.
The other thing is that Lopetegui normally plays a sort of 2 up top. Normally it's a 4-4-2-ish type system. So that will be interesting to see what they do with Bowen and Kudos. Where does it go?
Okay. Wolves. Cats, dogs to Wolves.
Craig Dawson.
You would definitely.
I mean, if anyone feels like a dog, it should be Craig Dawson. But Ain't Nori with 53 fouls won is a lot. A lot. One of the very few defenders in the game that gained bonus.
Yeah, I didn't even spot that.
Very
That's
few.
wild.
Very few seen.
I did see it a couple of times actually. I think he lost a couple, but yeah, he gained a few as well. Which is mad.
Again, a 4.5. We've got plenty.
Yeah. Cunha.
Cunha's the interesting one, isn't it? It's got to be.
It's
Look
all
at it.
positive signs for Cunha. Everything, all roads lead to Cunha at Wolves. If you're wanting a Wolves player. Baseline's good. Shots, good. Like 37 shots on target in 29 games is pretty good. Gets fouled a lot. It's good. Takes penalties. Good.
Yeah. If he's taking them over Sarabia, then
yeah,
it's great.
It's all really, really good.
Yeah. If there's a down, so 3 times last season he scored and didn't get bonus, and in none of those games did he then start getting bonus, and that's opposition.
Okay.
And that's the only thing. I mean, look how many players you've put on this screen for our last team. That's not. Is it even 11?
Is it even a full team? I just heard 4.
Just about.
It's an 11. It's literally.
You could just about roll out 11 players on that one. Yeah, they've signed. They've got Strand Larsen's a big guy, and they've brought in, but his numbers again don't look like a proper striker, I want to say. Yeah, I still think Kunis is the one. It's the only one in Wolves. And I know at 4.5 could be fine. But it's the fixtures are ugh.
Yeah, fixtures a bit rubbish.
There's definitely a time where Kuna at 6.5 is massively undervalued. But I don't think that time is game 1.
Fair enough. And
you like him, don't you? I get a feeling you like Kuna.
Yeah, a little bit tempting. I mean, I have to say, like, João Pedro obviously feels better at 5.5. Chris Wood even feels better at 6. He's probably just half a million more, where you feel like you have to just commit, and then like if you think that Alvarez is 500,000 more than that, and it's because there's not many strikers, right? They're all kind of squashed into that 6.5 to 8 bracket, and they're all there. Like, you can sort of pick one, and they'll be okay.
One of the things historically, I would have said Kuna would have been, well, he's 6.5. And I'm not sure exactly who I want from the 5.5 or 6. So I can go the 6.5 and I can definitely get to the other ones. But because being able to roll transfers up to 5, because keeping those transfers through wildcard, I'm like, if I don't think he's like, I don't know if I would play that strategy anymore. I feel like we need people that are better at strategy to tell us about that. But I think rather than be like, okay, I'll go on him to start with and move off him, I think I'll just wait on him.
Yeah, they do have a good fixtures from don't know, like 9, 10?
Fast Air just said in the chat, game week 9
9.
apparently
Okay.
is onwards for it.
Yeah, cool. Cool, yeah.
Yeah, wait
They
for
do
it.
have relatively good fixtures then, but
And Ain't Nori at some point will be in our teams at 4.5.
yeah.
Will be in our teams.
But we get some time to actually see what kind of Wolves turn up, right? And what Gary Neal's doing with them. So yeah, we've got plenty of time there.
Dunham. Been through the teams.
We're done. 1 hour and 40 minutes. So
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Overall, any other final hot takes, or are there any standout players from what you've seen? I mean, it makes me want Maddison.
Yeah, Mason got Madison.
I can
Yeah,
actually
Mason
about
got Madison. Bruno definitely feels more
Yeah.
more appealing to me than previously. The more I sort of look at it, and the more of the disparity around the others, I feel. I want to say I feel slightly more comfortable at maybe avoiding Arsenal defense straight up.
Yeah, okay.
Because that defense when it was like 120% owned, you kind of also always knew that there was 2 or 3 bonus going to that defense as well. And so it wasn't like you were taking 6 against the crowd, you were taking 8 against the crowd.
Yeah.
If it was 60% owned and I was taking 6 against the crowd, I think I might take that on a bit.
Yeah.
I'm at a time with Tottenham and City in 4 and 5.
I also I think we'll. Do you think we'll see this will be the end of double defenses? Just because, like, do you really want to put? Do you really want to put eggs into one basket where you're almost hoping for? Because in order to get bonus, you really do need a minimum clean plus probably a return to get top. To get in the conversation, you need a minimum clean.
Yeah.
But then, because again, you're only going to get. It's only going to be one of those people that probably gets into the bonus as well, because they're less likely to get to the top of the bonus. More likely one of them will get in. So do you double up to get the cleans and then hope one gets in, or do you avoid the double up and try and put more focus on the double attacks where more points are likely to be? I think there'll be more double ups in attacks than
actually
defense.
in general, maybe I would lean more towards, like, when we've looked at each of these teams, there's been like, oh, I like that player. It feels more obvious on a lot of them.
Yeah.
City's the one still where it's like, and Liverpool, where you look at them where they're so good, their baselines, you're like, I'm not exactly sure where this is going.
Yeah.
Other than Salah. Yeah, Salah looks difficult to avoid. If I'm looking at Salah or Haaland,
You feel like you're leaning towards Salah.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have to
you've got to try
look at ways to get 2 in. Look at ways to get them both in, and I think there might still be options to get them both in.
Yeah.
I think there's still a possibility.
There's no downside. I'm not looking at. There's nobody I've looked at who I liked and thought, well, now I hate them.
Yeah. Because you're not that good at Spurs defense.
Yeah, but hey, we like players. The positive side for FPL, we are giving them credit for it. We like players that are exciting. They normally, let's say, players are exciting rather than they're awful people get win fouls. And we like players that get shots.
Yeah, that's true. I still think they're a bit harsh.
We constantly think that they're trying to do, stuff to appease the masses. Like whenever you watch football and you see Gary Neville hand out the man of the match or wherever it is, they normally just give it at the goal scorer, don't they?
This is
true. Watkins comes on and it, yep, man of the match, Watkins.
Yeah, that's true.
Straight away in it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, well, this does this. FPL bonus is just moving into none of that working it out. It's just he scores, give it him.
Give it to the goal scorer and move on.
Yeah.
And move on. Cool. Let's wrap that up. As you've said already, you're speaking to Ted Knutson on Tuesday.
So you're already better at doing than me.
I only said it like that because you said it like that earlier. So otherwise I'd have got it wrong. But you'll be speaking with Ted on Tuesday. That'll be out on Wednesday morning. So look forward to that. And then next weekend, if I remember rightly, we are podding with FPL Family. That'll be a 2-part podcast. half of it will be on our channel and half of it will be on their channel. So make sure you are subscribed to FPL Family as well as us for that. We better sort out the finer details of that one, to be honest, because we've done the date, but everything else we're still trying to work out.
Yeah, with the Sunday pods. With the Sunday pods, we thought we might as well do some Sunday together.
This is good. Yeah.
And thank you, Dan. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, all the lovely people
that are still watching here and spending your Sunday night with us. If you want to see all the data that we've done, the data that we've put together that we're using, etc., then you can hop over to patreon.com/aboveaveragefpl. We popped it all in the Discord there for our patrons. So, or you can just watch this back a number of times. Baker's gonna timestamp it, so it will all be there for you. Thanks again to Pete and
league code. Do you know the league code?
We don't have one yet. Oh yes, I do. Hold on. No, we do. We do. Do I need to do this on the fly?
Put it in the description. Put it in the description.
Put it in the description. Yeah, we will put it in the description.
Auto join will be in the description.
Correct.
And if you want to come and see with us, be in the Discord, you've got to be on Patreon, which is patreon.com/aboveaveragefpl.
Yep, and that's all in the chat as well. So thanks a lot again, guys. We do really enjoy doing this BPS pod, and it's weird because this season, because they've changed it, it's the first time that there's been so many more eyes on it, and it's the first time we've really had to think about what has it really done to change things. So yeah, it's been a bit more extra effort to get it done, but we're there. Hopefully that helps. Might be the difference between some of those final decisions that you're making come closer to game week 1, and we'll see you again.
See you this week.
Cheers, mate.
See you soon, mate.